Get ready. Get set. It's time for the basement view. Hey, how's it going? It's me. Man, what day is this? I'm lost. It's the middle of the week. We got storms going like crazy. Wow, it's just all sorts of stuff going on. I hope I can cut through this storm today. I guess we're going to find out. That's for sure. Just in case. Hey, what's up, Charles? Man, how you like these storms going through here? Crazy. And supposed to be some more. And it's supposed to be from all the way from Louisiana up through here all the way to the east. And I mean, these storms has been crazy. I was about to walk out and get the mail a little while ago, and that thunder clapped. Right, man, it got gruesome as I don't know what. I was finna go out and get the mail. Hey, James, what's happening? And just as I was about to step out, I saw a big old lightning flash, and I said, oh, no, because you know what comes right after that? It was one of them big old sonic booms came after that. So I was like, hey, that mail can wait. Anyway, so, hey, Lisa, what's happening? You know, just coming on again, I got to tell you, I got to tell y'all, sometimes I will get a warning. Just so you know, when I get a warning, it throws me completely off, and it might mess my timing up for the rest of the evening. And I'm trying to get used to that. Sometimes YouTube will send you a warning, and I don't know why it happens. Right. Hey, Charles, you're absolutely right. That mail can stay out there. You know, that mail can stay out there. I don't even care. Anyway, like I was saying, I get these warnings sometimes, like, when it buffers. Sometimes I will get a warning that may say that it's not getting any data. And I'll look, and I'm looking at everything, and I'm seeing the data rates and the data flow looking fine. And it'll throw my timing completely off. So sometimes when I'm sitting here, and it may seem like all of a sudden my timing is crazy and I'm just off, that's why. I'm going through one of those. I'm looking at warnings and trying to figure out why the hell I'm getting these warnings. So, just so you know, and I apologize if sometimes it sounds like I'm a nut sitting here. Hey, what's up, Carmen? Hey, I'm not buffering. You know what? Don't say that shit. I said that Monday, and the minute I said that shit, it went to buffering, okay? Don't say it. But I tell you what, some of you all might have got a treat, and there was a very small stream that accidentally went through the other day, yesterday, I think. While I was testing, I accidentally forgot to make it private, and it was public for a few minutes. You all may have saw that. Somebody might have saw it. It looked like it was 3 views, and I had to get rid of that video. But and so much stuff, so much crazy stuff happens to me when I'm sitting here. Okay, thank goodness. Right now, since you brought it up, Carmen, that I'm not buffering, I may have found a solution to that. I'm going to cross my fingers that I found that solution, because, I am constantly, and I mean constantly, challenged with different things that is thrown at me. Oh, Charles, you saw it? Yeah, that was me doing some testing and trying to figure out, data rates and what the hell works better and yada, yada, yada. So I think I may have found a solution to the buffering. We will see. Yesterday while I was testing, I did not get any buffering, but that's almost always when I'm testing. I don't have any problems whatsoever when I'm testing. And it's like somebody playing this big joke on me. Okay? So bear with me. I'm going to be, and I'm still going to be making changes. So it might be, hey, some of y'all that may have been waiting might have seen it go live about 5 minutes before I actually went live. That was a shock to my system. I was just sitting here and I decided to look over at a couple of items of information and looked, and YouTube had went live. And I'm like, oh shit. So I had to actually end that stream and start a new one. So there you have it. Bear with me on this. All right. So Cory Booker. We all know Cory Booker. Most of us know who Cory Booker is, senator from New Jersey. He's to be congratulated on speaking for 25 plus hours on the Senate floor. Now, for those of you who are still questioning what a filibuster is, what Cory Booker did yesterday is a traditional filibuster. That is where you take up the entire session, okay? No business can be done while you have the floor. But you can keep the floor, but you cannot leave to use the bathroom. You cannot leave to eat. You cannot leave the floor for anything at all, period. Now, you can yield for another senator to ask you a question, but you have to keep the floor. You have to stay on the floor and the entire time. That is the traditional way that a filibuster worked. And Cory Booker spoke for 25 hours plus and change. Can you imagine standing on the Senate floor and having to continue a conversation for 25 hours? Now, I do recognize for some ladies that might be, that may not be such a feat. But seriously, to speak, to hold the attention, to hold the floor and speak for 25 hours. No bathroom break. Okay, remember that. No child break. Okay. Now, see, I was screwed when I didn't get to regenerate fat cells. Anytime I can't regenerate fat cells, you got me licked. I'm down, man down. So that deserves a hand. That deserves a hand. So congratulations to Cory Booker. And just so there's something to compare it to, the record that he broke was 24 hours plus change, and it was by Strom Thurmond back in the early days. It was back in 64, I think it was, 63. And he spoke for 24 hours and change, and he did it to filibuster the law that today is the Civil Rights Act. He was trying to keep the Civil Rights Act from getting passed. Was anybody listening to him? Yes. There were people there all night. Yes, because, now there were other people. See, other members could come and go. He just couldn't leave. Okay? Other members could go take breaks, So he just had to stay on the floor. So, again, congratulations to him. And Strom Thurmond, again, if you don't know, he was filibustering the Bill of Rights. God dog it, got tongue-tied. The Civil Rights Act in 64. That was the law he was trying to keep from getting passed. And Strom Thurmond was also the oldest senator to have office. I believe he actually died while he was in office. I think he was 100. I think he was 100 or 101, if I'm not mistaken. So, Strom Thurmond has gotten his record beaten by Cory Books, and Cory Books talked for 25 hours in protest of this current administration and the atrocities that they are committing. Okay? So shout out to him. And I guarantee you, Strom Thurmond is spinning in his grave right now to know a black man broke his record in the Senate. I guarantee you, he's spinning. And good, as far as I'm concerned. Who cares? Let him spin. So, that's one thing. The next subject, check this out. Got a video. Eric Adams. We all know who Eric Adams is, right? We all know what happened to Eric Adams. Eric Adams right now is probably pouring up one, toasting. Eric Adams' case was dismissed today by a judge, and it was dismissed in an interesting way. Here, let's have a video for that.
And we have breaking news. A federal judge is dismissing corruption charges against New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Adams was accused of engaging in a quid pro quo with the Trump administration to drop the charges in exchange for cooperation on immigration enforcement. Let's get right to Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katersky on this one. So, Aaron, is there a chance this case could come back? It could be brought up again?
No,
or is this done?
And that's what the Justice Department had wanted. They wanted the case dropped to free the mayor to help carry out President Trump's immigration priorities, but they wanted the case dismissed in such a way that it could be revived. And the judge just said that was unprecedented and breathtaking, and in effect could leave this unavoidable perception, in his words, that the mayor's freedom depends on his ability to carry out the immigration enforcement priorities of the administration, and that he might be more beholden, the judge said, to the demands of the federal government than to the wishes of his own constituents. The judge said he just wasn't going to go along. So he did dismiss the case, but he did so in a way that it cannot be brought back.
And these are sort of layered accusations. On the one hand, the accusations Adams was initially facing, and then the accusations that this was some kind of quid pro quo arrangement to drop it.
That's right. And the judge, importantly, in his opinion, said he was making no determination about the mayor's guilt or innocence on the corruption charges. And the whole idea was that the mayor was taking money improperly in exchange for official favors, most notably helping the Turkish government open up a new consulate here in Manhattan, even though the fire department had building code concerns at the time. That was one of the main allegations. So the judge said he wasn't weighing the facts, he wasn't determining the mayor's guilt or innocence, but the case is going away because, as the judge said, he really has no power to force the government to prosecute.
So the mayor denied those charges. The judges didn't weigh in on that part of it, just dismissed the charges as the DOJ's requesting.
Dismiss them as the DOJ is requesting, but not quite in the way that the Justice Department was requesting, because they wanted the carrot and stick, right?
Yeah.
They wanted the mayor to carry out the administration's immigration enforcement policies, but they wanted the case dismissed in a way that, the charges could come back if he didn't do it, or at least that's what the judge said was implied, and the judge said that was not consistent with the country's premise of equal justice under the law.
All right. Aaron Katersky, thank you.
All right. So, my brother, Eric Adams, is off the hook. Oh, in answer to your question, Charles, I don't think the man had a Depends on. He didn't say he had one on. But from what I understood, he had to fast for a couple of days and dehydrate. Can't drink any water for a day or so, and just absolute eliminate ahead of time. So that's my understanding. So, Eric Adams, the judge dismissed his case, but he dismissed it in a way that it cannot be brought back up. Yeah, Christmas came early for him, man. Absolutely. The judge dismissed it. You remember the Justice Department wanted to hold that over his head and make him jump through hoops and shit. Y'all remember he was sitting on Fox and old Tom Homan was talking about if you don't do what we say, he was going to be up there in New York, up his butt. He literally said that on nationwide TV. If you don't act right, I'm going to be in New York up your butt. Now, and Eric Adams literally had to sit there and So, Eric Adams got a Christmas gift today, and there ain't nothing Trump and them can do. Now, they can trump up some charges, which seems to be the route that they intend to be taking, like the stuff they did with the young lady, the young college student that they snatched off the streets for writing an article in the newspaper, the college newspaper. So, as far as now is concerned, Eric Adams is completely off the hook. Now, the people probably going to toss him out of office, but at least At least he ain't got that hanging over his head no more, you know. So, congratulations to Eric Adams. You know, he pulled a fast one. I guess he was his lawyer, you know, said the right thing. I guess we can catch a break, some of us, huh? So yeah, they dodged a bullet, man. Absolutely dodged a bullet. Because could you imagine the pressure that Tom Homan and Trump, the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, that's what I'm thinking about. Pam Bondi. Could you imagine the pressure that they would have been putting on them? I mean, man, I wouldn't have wanted to be under that pressure. They was probably going to be getting him to do all sorts of under the table stuff, you know? So, congratulations. Congratulations, Eric Adams. So, that was good news for Eric Adams. We got good news for Cory Booker. So, I told y'all I was going to find some good shit to talk about. Hey, I kept my word. We talking good shit. I told y'all I was going to find something good to talk about. So here I is. Got another tidbit of good news. You waiting for it? Here it is. The Democrats won big in Wisconsin last night. Did you hear me? The Democrats won big in Wisconsin last night. What's that, Carmen? Elon is quitting Doge. You know, I saw something about that. I'll believe that when I see it. You know, I'll believe that when the headline is Elon has quit Doge. Okay? I saw that, and I saw it in a couple of different places. And I'm like, you know, that guy's ego, that don't sound like his ego. Now, let's understand something. Doge was not supposed to be a long-term thing. Okay, let's look back. Doge wasn't supposed to be a long-term thing. So this might be in tune with what it was supposed to be. I don't know. You know, it's my position it shouldn't have never happened in the first place. All right? So, say, don't you believe it, huh? But we do have definite good news, and that good news is this.
And we want to bring you this big headline. There is a clear winner in the most expensive judicial race in U.S. history. Susan Crawford, who is endorsed by former President Barack Obama, will be the next Wisconsin Supreme Court justice. Now, her victory is significant because it means liberals will retain their 4-3 majority there. Supporters from both parties spent more than $81 million in this race, and that includes Elon Musk and his super PAC, which backed Crawford's opponent.
Wisconsinites fended off an unprecedented attack on our democracy. Our courts are not for sale.
And the GOP's slim majority in the House just became a bit bigger last night. Republican State Senator Randy Fine won the race in Florida's 6th District. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz used to hold that seat. And Republican Jimmy Patronis came out on top in Florida's 1st District. He's the state's chief financial officer, and he'll fill Matt Gaetz' open position in Congress. Our Anthony Salvanto brings us more on what these results mean.
The story in Wisconsin was turnout. The view from the data desk as we are watching and we're watching votes come in was that we might see 2.3 million votes in this race. Now, for context, that could be around half, around 50% of the voters in the state. Why is that so large? Because it is a springtime election. It is a judicial election. You do not typically see those kinds of numbers. But what happened here, you had a lot of money spent, and that seems to have driven up turnout for both the conservative and the liberal side. But it definitely was to the advantage of Susan Crawford. And the big part of that was turnout and strong performance in Milwaukee and its suburbs, where she exceeded the vote margins from 2024 for Kamala Harris, from 2020 for Joe Biden. That shows you not just strong liberal or comparison Democratic turnout, but it also shows you that that effort to get those voters out worked in the areas that it had to, Democratic areas. They're in purple here. And I should also circle around Madison, Dane County, another Democratic stronghold. So as we saw those patterns in Democratic strongholds, you could see that Crawford was on her way to victory. The implications of this, Democrats, liberals may take away that they can get turnout up in off-year elections. We've seen that, examples of that before the 2024 election. So it doesn't necessarily foretell the future. And for conservatives, they'll have closely watched this. What will they see the impact being from Elon Musk, from all that money having been spent? That's going to be one of the big Washington discussions in the coming days. So that's the story out of Wisconsin.
Hey. Now, for those of you that don't know the Wisconsin history part, Wisconsin is known for their Supreme Court siding with the Republicans a lot. Okay? And yes, Lisa, I would say that this sends a clear message. Yep. I think you're right. The Wisconsinites are not caring very much for the job that he's doing. As is probably true across the nation right now. As for the Wisconsin Supreme Court, it is now, it's been confirmed to be still leaning liberal, which is great. It is great because there was a governor there and they had a Republican legislature. What was that guy's name? Scott something. Scott? Can't think of his name. It was Scott something. And I don't know if any of you recall, but they had a Supreme Court election and the liberal was going to win. And all of a sudden, there was 5,000 votes found, in the trunk of one of the poll workers' cars, and it was like 5,000, just enough votes for the Republican to win that seat. So at least now none of those shenanigans can, be happening again. We got some liberals in their Supreme Court. And when they try and draw those crazy maps, the legislature draws the representative maps. And you really need to hold the Supreme Court to fight about those representative maps. The Republicans are good for gerrymandering the maps. and they do it so bad that it's awful. So, good news, Wisconsin. Wisconsin has a left-leaning Supreme Court. So, it's been all good news today. Almost. It's been almost all good news today. I tell you what, but any good news, we'll take it, right? Any good news, we'll take it. You know, old numbnuts had to come out this evening and mess up the track, the track record. He announced his tariffs today, and I got to tell you, I'm happy with it. It was said on CNBC, one of the hosts on CNBC, that this was worse than the worst case scenario that they had all considered. Now, if a commenter says, or I said commenter, if a commentator says that this is worse than the worst case scenario that Wall Street was expecting, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it as all get out. I say, let him destroy it. Okay? That's what I've been saying. Y'all heard me. That's what I've been saying. Let him destroy it. Let him ruin the economy. You see, he said the economy was going to be better on day one. He also said, well, him and Elon said there was going to be a lot of pain. They was going to put tariffs on everything, raise a ton of money, put a lot of people out of work, and there was going to be some pain. And he said pain in the short run. Now, it takes a business well over a year or two to build a factory. You know, you can't build a factory in short term. I don't know what his and Elon's short term means, but for the average person, the short term is like a month or two. I think he's talking about 2 or 3 years. Okay? That short term is going to choke a lot of people out. That short term is going to choke a lot of folks out. And that's cool with me. That's cool. I hope he does. I hope he tear their ass up. You know? I got my canned goods. I got my toilet paper. So, as long as I got me some canned goods and some toilet paper, I'm good. I hope everybody else is ready too. Y'all ready? I hope you're ready. I told you to get ready. Don't be getting ready to get ready. Get ready. So, and he just about put tariffs on practically everything that comes into the United States. So, pretty much everything is going up in price. Everything. Appliances, everything. So, as far as I'm concerned, that coincides with what we've been preaching here. What we've been preaching here? No buy in 2025. Right? Right? No buy in 2025. Right, everything in every country. Right. So that's how we combat that. We can combat that. We can combat that. We can not buy none of that high ass shit. How about that? How about we not buy any of this stuff that they raising the price on? Matter of fact, I think tomorrow's going to be a good day for me to start my germination. I got me some cells to germinate me some seeds. I should have did it last week, and I got off my schedule. But hey, let's start planting some stuff. And let's see what happens. You know? Matter of fact, some of them raccoons I've been killing, I might eat some of them. I'm just kidding. I won't be eating any raccoons. Yeah, hold on to the cash. Hold on to the cash. We got a plan. We got a plan. Number one, hold on to our cash. Two, make sure you got your head on the swivel. Okay? Make sure you got your head on the swivel. Everywhere you go, put your head on the swivel. Let's have us some alternative ways to eat. Okay? Matter of fact, I think I'm going to run out tomorrow or thereafter. You know something I haven't had in years? I think I'm going to go and get me a few cans of Spam. Y'all buying a pre-owned upright freezer to start storage. Hey, there you go. There you go. I mean, you know, just so you got a little. As long as you got a little, as the prices go up, you know, you could go out and supplement, you know, what you got at the house. Get you some insurance, like my buddy here says, oh James. Make sure you got some of that foul weather gear on. Get you some of that body armor. Wear your insurance. And you no Spam. Hey Carmen, do you know? I will have you know that Spam and doggone it, Spam and Vienna sausages saved my life a couple of seasons. I mean, I was way down. I was so far down. I was so far down one time, I had to cut up Spam to put in soup starter. I made soup starter with Spam. Okay? And I was eating good. I even saw some crazy flavors of Spam recently. I'm gonna have to go check them out. It sounded weird, but I'm going to get some. And hey Carmen, I'm gonna think of you every bite I take. And hey Charles, my freezer full, big time. So, long as you got something to supplement, you're good. Sam, it's too much sodium. Well, eat a small piece. Yeah, girl, times was hard as hell. And hey, Charles, you know, you cut that spam up and then you didn't have to have no salt. So, anyway, and again, and those Vienna sausages too with some crackers. I tell you what, them things. Now I don't know what any of this tastes like today. Let's get that straight. I'm gonna find out though. I don't know what any of it tastes like today. I hope they haven't ruined the recipe. But spam is a big thing in Hawaii. Spam come on almost every restaurant menu in Hawaii. So there. So anyway, so have your alternative sources of nourishment. And, you know, yeah, they do. Exactly. So spam will keep you alive. Yeah, back in the day, they tasted good, James. Yeah, I haven't had any of them lately. So I'll tell you what, I'll get some, and I might bring it right here and have some right here, you know, and we'll find out. Well, maybe I won't do it right here live. I don't want to gross none of y'all out, because somebody may not be able to stand watching me eat it, you know. So, and I understand if you don't eat it, because there's a lot of stuff I don't eat. Okay, I don't eat them pig's knuckles and stuff like that. You know, it's a lot of parts of the pig that I don't eat unless you grind it into Spam or Vienna sausages. So, just a little disclosure there. Say you'll try that raccoon instead. Well, there's been people eating them coons for a long time, you know. From what I understand, a lot of folks eat them, you know. Now, I'd probably have to go out in the woods and get a coon, because the ones I've been killing around my house probably ain't safe to eat, you know. Them things probably been eating all kind of stuff you wouldn't want to ingest yourself. So, you know, just putting that out there. So, we got a plan, okay? We got a plan. Let's just stick to our plan. Let's look at what the tariffs bring in. Let's look at how the economy reacts. They just fired 10,000 more people yesterday from Health and Human Services. So that's 10,000 people that's out on the streets, and the prices is going to be going up for them too, and they're going to be trying to get health care somewhere, and that's going to be another problem. And I've heard quite a few people in Indiana, where I am, quite a few people in Indiana done lost their job. So it's going to be some upset folks. Going to be some upset folks out there this summer. I tell you, if we could get past these storms, I know it's April and May, and that's the showers and everything. But hey, yes, Charles, yeah, them raccoons around here been eating out of garbage cans and all kind of other stuff. So we probably didn't want to be eating the ones around here, you know. So now maybe again, if you find some down in the country that ain't around no city, that's eating the typical raccoon diet, be a little better off. So moving along, we got our plan, you know. Oh, and one other thing that just came to my mind, and I do that sometimes. Yeah, now y'all know I do that. Things just pop into my head all of a sudden sometimes. So I got to tell you, I'm going to change direction because there was something I told you all the other day. And that was all that stuff about Trump running for a third term. All that stuff about that's smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors. And there's another fella that feels the same way I do about it. Okay? This guy felt the same way, and he thinks the same thing. Check this out.
President Trump is not ruling out the possibility of seeking a third term. On an exclusive phone interview with NBC's Kristen Welker, he says that there are, quote, methods for doing so, and that a lot of people want me to do it. Asked to clarify, he said, I'm not joking.
Trump throws out a third term every couple of weeks, usually when he's doing something very unpopular that he doesn't want people talking about, like putting military lives at risk because his team doesn't really care if they die, or signing a budget that takes away people's healthcare and retirement savings. But that's exactly why he throws out nonsensical, non-existent plans to run for a third term. Because the more people know about what he's doing in office, the less they want him in office. Trump wasn't able to get a second consecutive term because of this, the first president in like over 100 years. And all this talk about him staying in office past 2028 normalizes the idea of it while taking time away from letting people know what he actually does with power when he has it. Like giving billionaires government jobs so they can shut down any investigations into their companies. Or ruining millions of children with disabilities opportunities to get an education by shutting down the education department. Or pushing for a war on 3 different continents. Or sending people to Salvadorian labor camps without cause indefinitely. Or opening a concentration camp at Guantanamo Bay. Or taking away people's citizenship. Take your pick. I got more. Trump's desire to stay in power as long as he can is a serious threat, but it can't be done without the support of the people. When he throws this idea out like this, it's a very low-effort distraction tool he knows traditional media outlets latch onto, and it's a tool he uses when he's afraid that what his administration is in the news for at the time will cause him to lose the very support that every would-be dictator needs in order to seize power.
Well, see, it's like I said, he just puts that out there. He knows that there's no possibility of that happening. He knows it. He's just putting it out there. That's smoke and mirrors. That's to keep us from talking about how stupid they were to be texting on the Signal app and putting the war plans on the Signal app. That's what that's about. That's all about just throwing us off the trail. See? And I thought his party didn't like people in their 80s in the White House. I thought they didn't want nobody that old. Right, Carmen? I thought they had a problem with old folks. He say, how he keeps saying, a lot of people want me to run. You never see, you always see one guy or 2 people say, yeah, run for a third term. But this lot of people, now, I would not put it past his supporters to think that, though. And that's who that message is for. That's for them. That's for them to have hope. But it's also for the media to get off of what they're really talking about. And that's how bad he's been screwing up. That's all that is. Every time, just remember, they always throw a boogeyman out there. Every time he starts to screw up something, he throws something out there. I think I'm going to run for a third term. And that will get the media talking about that and not about his screw up. Okay? So that's what that's all about. I feel like I was right about that the other day when I said it. And ever since then, I've been hearing other people say it. That was just a smokescreen. That's it. Nothing more. So, there. And if he even tried to do it, there is, he keeps saying, people have told me there's ways to do it. There is only one thing that I could imagine that could keep him in office past his term limit. And that would be a war. That's the only thing that I can think of. And that's the only thing, that I know good and damn well I would not put past him to try and do. He would absolutely try and start a war to stay in office. Hey, guess who did it before him? Not here in the United States, but guess who showed him how to do it? Bibi Netanyahu. Remember? Bibi Netanyahu was about to go to jail. All right? And Bibi Netanyahu, all of a sudden, is in war with Hamas. And that's the one thing that has always threw up a red flag for me. And back in October, all of a sudden, Israel is attacked out of the blue by a bunch of people that's got no place to go but back under these doggone bricks and buildings and shit. That's always been a red flag for me. Right when Bibi Netanyahu was about to have his ass in jail, all of a sudden, now he's standing up there. And if you know anything about Israeli politics, they have to put a coalition government together. Well, all of a sudden, he's with the far right-wing racist part of their political spectrum. All of a sudden, the most hardline, racist, hateful groups of people is in his coalition. And he's back on top. And the first thing they did was try and get rid of the court's involvement in politics. So, this guy here, he's got somebody that he could take a lesson from already. So, I wouldn't put it past him to try that. I would not put it past him. I hope, I hope our military, I hope they wouldn't. I hope they wouldn't do it. You know what? Let me ask you, if you were in the military, if you were a high-ranking officer, not one of the top line officers, but just a high enough ranking officer, how much confidence would you have in a Secretary of Defense that has no idea how to put a war plan together. Got no idea. Don't know nothing about what he doing. And second, was stupid enough to put war plans in text messages. What kind of confidence would you have in that guy? Would you go to war with that guy running the show? You know, I think that would tell the story. I think that'll tell the story. I hope not. So we had some good news tonight, right? I did provide a little good news tonight. You know, we did have some good news, and I feel good about what happened. I feel Elon Musk spent all that money in Wisconsin and didn't get nothing for his dollars but rejection. Oh, that just made me feel so good. And I tell you what, I literally didn't know which way that was going to go because of how wrong I was in our last election. I was so wrong in that last election that it is literally sticking with me. I was so wrong about America. I was so wrong about black people. I was so wrong about people in America in general with that last election that it weighs on my mind how wrong I was about all of it. So, last night, as I'm looking at what's going on in Wisconsin, I was like, man, I ain't even going to try to call it, you know. But, hey, the Dems pulled it out, and I'm happy for them. So, we did get good news. And on that note, I guess I'm going to end that here. I appreciate y'all as well. And I think I got through this night with no buffering. And check this out. For y'all that don't know, I was sitting here and early on, I said that when I get warnings back here, it throws me off. Okay? I got some warnings. I got 3 different warnings. And I made sure to not let them throw me off tonight. Tonight, I wanted to stay focused. I wanted 2 things to happen. I wanted to get through this night with no buffering. And I don't think it buffered. I think we did okay. And I wanted to be able to ignore the warnings. Because I think some of these warnings are false alarms. I think they're false alarms a lot of the times. So I was able to ignore them tonight. I got 3 different warnings, 3 different occasions. And, you know, I just ignored them. I did check the data rates a couple times, but ignored them. And everything went smooth. So, yay. Yay for me. So again, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. It's Wednesday. The weather was lousy. It's storms in the area, and it didn't mess up the internet. The internet flowed great. So I appreciate y'all. I appreciate making it through this. Thank you, Carmen. You take care of yourself, too. I will see you all Friday. Man, I do appreciate y'all. Thanks for hanging with me. Take it easy.